Gary Border stays in rare form. Sabrina has a solution to not being able to find a baby daddy. And Danni, you might just want to go ahead and let this relationship go. What's good, y'all? Sugar Sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Sistas video. And in this one, we are breaking down season 7, episode number 20 from Tyler Perry's Sistas. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my sisters' content and conversations. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right on into it, because that's exactly what they did with this episode, y'all. We start the episode off right where we left off with episode 19, and Gary is letting them have it, okay? Andrea confirms that, yes, what Gary is saying is true, but with a little bit of words, and, you know, Gary got to step in and add the comedic flair, the little extra zhuzh, if you will, and the lines, the dialogues. It was just giving the hits that keep on giving. All right, G Unit. Whoa, G Unit. Gary, please, I beg of you. And while this character in and of itself is not a comedy character, a comedic character, not necessarily a likable character, the way that Chido is playing Gary Borders is something that should be studied. That is something that has been very masterful, and it is something that is enjoyable to watch on the like acting craftness of it all. But of course, Gary has got to go. His menacing knows no bounds. And we go from, in this moment, him inviting everybody because he's just so excited. He's so proud, to snatching back his invitation after first saying, you know what? Everybody's invited except for the ghetto duo. Yeah, Zatima, I'm talking about y'all ghetto asses. And of course, everybody got smoke for him. So then he ultimately snatched back the invitation for everybody because he don't understand what the problem is. And he don't understand, you know, why Karen getting all upset. She need to be focused on her two menses. It's like, yo, Gary, I beg of you, can you relax? Andrea sat there shaking in her boots the whole entire time. Everybody looking at her questioning, but then also directing so much attention to Gary because you need to deal with the issue at hand. Ultimately, he winds up leaving. Andi coaxes him out and like, okay, I'm gonna call you later, like, trust, like, it's okay. He takes his wine back and he exits, and then we are launched into the episode fully, where the girls go into Andi's room to like debrief with her, or they try to get her to debrief, to which she doesn't. And then Rich, Zach, and Maurice are like waiting outside for them to kind of like finish that. Now inside, Andi is maintaining that they are getting married, they are engaged, it's fine, I need y'all to just trust, you don't have to believe it, but it is what it is. And she even goes as far as to apologize to Karen for ruining her party, which she didn't actually do. Gary did. I mean, the party was over by the time he popped up, but he actually ruined the mood and all of that. And I love the bit of dialogue between them two, with Karen responding like, girl, don't you apologize to me. You don't owe me anything, and you're not going to apologize for that man. This is not your fault. That to me just lent itself back into the space that they used to be in seasons 1 and season 2, where Karen was really trying to ride hard for Andi and support her even within this toxic relationship with Gary. She pushed for her to leave, but then there was also times where she backed up and gave her space and like, okay, so if you're gonna stay, then this is what that needs to look like, and okay, well, maybe he's changing, and okay, maybe this is happening. I felt that same tender loving care within the whole like, girl, this is not your fault, you didn't do it, don't you cry, don't you worry about it. Because in this moment, the most important thing is not necessarily to condemn her for going backwards or seemingly regressing and running back to a toxic, abusive relationship, which they have known her to do in the past. It is to comfort her and to let her know that she's safe with them, in ultimate hopes that she will give them information that they can use to help her. Now, Andi doesn't do it, which I would argue is growth on her end, because Andi is very much so the victim often in life. And yes, she's actually a victim of the men that she has chosen and has gotten into relationship with, and their dastardly ass deeds and complete and utter menacing. But she also pretends or like plays the victim in other parts of her life because she's very used to being victimized. And while it might not be the best choice, while it might not be, you know, the easiest choice, her making a decision to not disclose to the girls what's actually going on, I do feel like was one of those decisions to take herself out of victimhood. And while I'm not jumping for joy, hooping and hollering about this one moment, this one decision, I am hopeful that this could be the beginning of something very meaningful for the Andrea Barnes character, as well in reference to her story arc. Her deciding to not tell could be laced with a bunch of different things. So of course it could have a little tinge of embarrassment, some shame, a tie to, you know, being back in a situation that she thought that she had healed, grown through, and basically evolved out of, at least perception wise. She knows the deal. She knows that she's being blackmailed into the circumstance, but it's very clear that on the outside looking in, it looks like, okay, this is just another time that Andi ran back to abusive ass Gary. So that could definitely be a thing, but I think multiple things can be true at one time, because I do believe that she's taken into consideration her girls, specifically Karen. It will do Karen absolutely no good to know the details on what is prompting Andi to be situated in a relationship with Gary or be engaged to Gary at this particular moment. Karen is going to worry about her regardless, but if Karen knows that Gary is threatening bodily harm, he's threatened to expose Jordan, he's tied to the cartel, if she knows all of that additional information, now she has even more to actually worry about, and I think it takes the threat level up a notch. I feel like in watching how Karen exited the loft or the penthouse, she left kind of with, it's not your fault, maybe she's feeling a little bit weak. She doesn't say any of these things, but these are all of the character thoughts that I could imagine are happening. She leaves like, it's been a long day, I'm very tired, Andi said what she said, we gonna deal with it, I guess, but I'm about to go home. And I don't think that she would have been able to actually leave the penthouse, period, or be able to leave the penthouse with any level of grounding or peace that she exited with, in knowing how severe the circumstances are. And I know on the live, so if y'all missed it, check out my live stream every Wednesday afternoon. Tyler Perry Sistas episodes. I go live and I break down the episode and give first reactions. Y'all can call in and share your thoughts, share your feelings, share your predictions and everything, and we have a full-on conversation. And I know what came up in that was people just feeling like basically Karen or Andi only told Fatima because she likes Fatima better than she likes the girls. And I just don't believe that to be true. And why I don't believe that to be true, because Fatima has a specific part to play as it pertains to how Andi's story progressed with Gary. As we exited season 2 of Tyler Perry Sistas and went into season 3 and 4, and Fatima started to become a bigger character within this universe and had bigger arcs and really started to develop her friendship with her then boss, Andi, she got looped into the Gary-ness of it all. And in the most recent seasons, this season as well as last season, we have seen Fatima go to bat with Andi, specifically to threaten Gary about certain doings, even though they're not in an actual relationship. So Fatima has a little bit more knowledge than the girls do, and has had more knowledge than what the girls have for quite a while. There are still things that we know as the audience that Gary did to Andi that Fatima also knows, but the girls don't actually know. So it wasn't too far-fetched for me to watch Andi actually reveal to Fatima what was actually going on. It made more sense because not only does Fatima already have additional context that Andi doesn't have to continue to explain, but she also has a criminal tie or some type of criminal background that she can lean into, and maybe Andi can actually use that in reference to help. But I also want to point out that when Andi came out of the bathroom, she was surprised to see Fatima there. So she also did not ask Fatima to hang back so she can tell her and not tell the girls. Andi, I think, had resolved to settle into like, I'm going to deal with this on my own and I'm going to figure it out, even though I feel like I have no options. And Fatima just refused to leave, and Andi didn't have the energy no more to fight with her. And overall, I really enjoyed that whole segment, the sum of all of that. Even when we get towards the end where Jordan is pops up on her, and Fatima don't actually have a solution yet, but she's trying to work on one, and one that might mean that Gary is permanently neutralized. I really enjoyed the Andi arc in this season, I think, or not the season, in this episode, and I think it's starting to work and do something for the lack of really good Andi story this season. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that because I have some thoughts around the Andrea Barnes character this season. And I would actually argue that the meat potatoes of the episode actually happened at the very beginning. And then once we go throughout the rest of it, it's more of like fallout from what we got to see, continuing on, just living life. Aside from when we get to Miss Marie, Hayden, and Tamara at the daggone law firm later on in the episode, the rest of it is just additional context off of things that either was established at the top of the episode or things that were established previously. So when I think about Rich and Sabrina, Rich makes a stop and goes and tells Jordan what he heard about Andi and Gary and and how he feels about it. Great. Then he comes over to Sabrina's house, and Sabrina has to let him know that Dominique offered to be my sperm donor, and I'm going to actually accept. Of course, he's in his feelings. Of course, he don't actually like it. He's liking it to, oh, Dominique likes you, and that must be why, and this is not cool. But they kind of cut it off and leave it there. And then the next time that we see Rich is he's having a conversation with Tony, who is Tony gives me the biggest ick now, y'all. I swear. But he's having a conversation with Tony, and Tony is like, so you're going to allow your girl to have a baby by another man? Tony, allow? Do he own her? Like, he don't want kids. Like, it was the trivializing and the revisionist history for me, because Rich, you had every reason for not wanting to have kids that was not money back when this originally came up. And now all of a sudden you just been trying to get your money up, open a new store, new smoothie bars all around Atlanta, and that's the thing that's stopping you from wanting to have her baby. First of all, y'all not even engaged. First of all, y'all haven't even figured out if y'all actually want to stay together and build a life together. So like, her particularly going on this journey to freeze her eggs because she wants to have kids and she's a woman of a certain age is one thing. Where y'all's relationship is at is another. And I hate, like, I get that this is natural, so don't take this as me criticizing the storyline, because the storyline can be very realistic as it is. But I hate the idea that now because she actually wants kids and you particularly don't want kids, or now wanted them and couldn't figure out if you had the right money, so you ain't want them in the moment, whatever your story is today, Rich. Why we're not addressing those two things as separate things? Because the fact that y'all's relationship has yet to progress to a place of like more than just niceties, pleasantries, great compliments, and great sex, but then you want to be going back and forth about who's going to be the father of her goddamn kids. Meanwhile, she's also not saying that she's having the kids right now. This is just about freezing the damn eggs and embryos. I had to think about that for a second, y'all. Even in just articulating this just now, they are not putting the baby back in her right now. So Rich, if you see it for Sabrina, and she could possibly be the one, as you were saying, and you think that you want kids, but you just want to be financially stable, then give her your goddamn sperm. Dominique can still take her sperm. Y'all can both fertilize her eggs, and you can put a contract in place that she cannot use your fertilized embryos without your permission, and you only grant the permission once y'all's relationship progresses and you have financially gotten yourself to a certain place. And she can also put in the contract that you need to be able to communicate this by whatever age that she actually wants to get pregnant. Like, I need y'all to stop with the melodramatics. Rich just leaning into jealous guy 101 is not doing it for me, and it just totally taints the idea that could have been these more evolved men coming into these women's lives and offering something. Like, Tony originally was offering up therapy for Danni, but then you're not actually holding her accountable, and in this episode you are gaslighting her about your whole damn ex-wife thing. Your ex-wife's boobies in your phone is a problem. It's a big ass red flag. You saying anything otherwise is gaslighting the hell out of Daniella, and I hate when y'all put me in a position to defend Daniella, because I don't like Daniella's ass, but in this moment she is right. You came in here, wanted to immediately wash your ass before sitting on a damn couch and actually having a conversation with me about something I wanted to talk to you about. That's an orange flag number one. And then your your ex-wife's boobies pop up in your goddamn phone, and you want to talk to me about going through your shit? I get it. Some people are of the camp of like, don't go through my stuff, don't go through my stuff. Okay, cool, but then why are there boobies in your phone? You could say in this moment, do not ever do this again. However, I'm going to rectify the fact that there's boobies in my phone. But no, we want to gaslight her, be all dramatic, and then run out butt naked. That's how you knew you was dead ass wrong, because you left butt ass naked, as you should. The boyfriends are really letting me down, y'all. And if you want my rest of my thoughts, go and watch my Our Sistas Keeper episode. I'll link it in the description box down below, because I can't even talk about them anymore. Like, I just don't want them to take up no more space. Let's go over to Miss Marie's old geriatric ass. You cute girl, but the geriatricness is ridiculous. And not ridiculous, but it's like comical, because you going to fight with Tamara is beyond me. Like, how did she go from Oprah to Love and Hip Hop so damn fast over Hayden? Nonetheless, Hayden got you in here behaving like you're on Love and Hip Hop season 13, talking about glitter growing from your coochie, not grays. That's a good line, but I'm just saying, trying to wax Tamara's ass up and down this office over Hayden, all because you want a little bit of mess. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that money automatically like makes you PC and makes you just like this perfect person. But I just don't buy a billionaire doing the things that Miss Marie is doing. So like, I wish that he would have knocked her down a couple financial pegs, because a billionaire black woman, one, banging Hayden is one thing, but then creating this whole commotion with Tamara at the office, and then all of a sudden magically not giving a damn about anybody seeing her with Hayden or getting caught cheating or what this looks like or what that looks like, after she didn't run amok, had a whole rampage demeaning Andi about how she needs to win this and Andi can't keep up and Andi is 3 steps behind and she needs to get her together. But meanwhile, you want to be playing with Hayden with the door wide open. Like, it's the one episode for me to like completely assassinate all of the character development that you gave Miss Marie for cheap ass laughs. Like, this could have gone over so much better, I think, if it was written better. Miss Marie could be snarky. Miss Marie can be a petty bitch. Miss Marie can be a lot of things, but y'all needed to add a little bit more layer and nuance to how she goes about some of these things, because it gave off very trite, very cheap, very whack. In the same way that I threw away Tamara's character because of her whole investment within Gary, I also, Tamara, I'm gonna throw you away again for this episode, but I'm also toss Miss Marie out with you, because what are y'all actually fighting about? Tamara, you're down here at the law firm. Meanwhile, you cannot stop riding on Gary's ass. So you came down here to prove that Hayden was cheating, but bitch, you've been cheating this whole time too. It don't make sense. None of it makes sense. And I'm gonna just stop it here, y'all. If I missed something, I probably covered it in Our Sistas Keeper. So again, check the link in the description box or check this video out. It's linked right here for you. I'm going to be doing a preview, so be on the lookout for that. I should have it linked once it's up as well, so you can choose between Our Sistas Keepers episode or the preview for episode 21. I got you. It's your good sis, you Let's Talk TV with, and I'm seeing you in the next one.